All right, back at it again with another episode of Spiritual Art of War. And today, we're going to briefly talk about one of the major issues in the dating market. Okay. And this is something that even a lot of these red pill content creators cannot solve or do not care to solve or even talk about. I'm not going to solve, but at least say that this is a big problem in the market, okay? Because when you got guys like Michael Sartan, okay, which he actually makes some good content, I do give him credit on that. But when you got people like him that jump into this evolutionary psychology stuff, right? And they tell you that women are the ones have been always mate selecting, meaning always choosing who they would reproduce with, meaning marry and basically be a wife to, that is actually incorrect. Because what we're seeing now in today's time is what's going on. That's not what was happening even 100 years ago. Okay, we have to remember that women don't even have the ability to go out at a high level and actually be producers and provide for other people. Like women are not going to go out there, risk their life, travel land, set up international businesses where they could get kidnapped. I know this because my dad did international business. Okay, and whenever he did him doing international business, it can be dangerous doing international business. Okay, and he did this for his wife and his kids, and for the family he grew up in. His grandmother, his mother. Okay, my dad's father had passed away. Okay, back in the early '80s. So we're talking about what men are able to do and provide for others. Okay, so it would make no sense that in past societies, in harder times, we're in a modern world, it'd make less sense that a woman would be allowed to go and choose who she wants to be with without there being um, almost an exclusive control by the patriarch or the elder men in her family, okay, whether it be uncle, older brother, or grandfather, right, or the community elders. They would have a say so, okay, because they understand that marriage is not only about the reproduction or continuing your lineage, but they understand what it means to pair yourself with another family, to have in-laws. Okay, people don't think that in-laws are a big deal because people think individually these days. In-laws were always vital to your survival. Who you married and their family was vital to your survival. This is the reason why even in cultures like the East Indian cultures that have, at least right now, semi-arranged marriages, at least those that are in the West, they do have arranged marriages still, but they kind of tend to more have a semi-arranged marriage where it's a little bit more loose, but you have different parameters on the type of people or caste system or ethnic group to marry, right? So they have some level of control. Um, Now, when it comes to this subject, and why am I bringing this up? I thought about something thought about something. There's a guy that I know, okay, and I'm not really like I wouldn't say I'm friends with him. He's an acquaintance. He's a guy that I run across, and I'm gonna give you like to give you a picture. I'm gonna give you like an idea of like his age. I'm gonna give you around his age range and his looks, and I'm gonna tell you his situation because me and him actually talked. He's a younger dude. I actually, tried to give him some advice as a young man, me being an older man, and really trying to help him kind of build his life a certain way, or really just trying to show him like how to really move economically because we were talking about that we are talking about something economically, right? Personal finance, economics, things like that. So anyway, this guy he's in his early 20s. Okay, um, a brother, so-called black man. I was dark skinned, like probably just give you an idea, probably like about as dark as like LeBron. Now this guy's about 6'3". He's in very good shape. Like he's built like a wide receiver. So you think about a standard NFL wide receiver. He's not swole, but he's like really lean. You know what I'm saying? Very athletic looking, very athletic build. He's about 6'3". He's got dreads. He's dark skinned, and I actually have actually know his girlfriend. I actually met her before in passing when they first started talking. So I know his girlfriend because I asked him about her because I hadn't seen her in some time. So he had told me, oh yeah, she's doing X Y Z. Yeah, me and her are still together. I live at home with my parents. She live with her people, but we're gonna try and see if they can get a spot together. Now the girl that is his girl, she's pretty good looking. Sister. You know what I'm saying? Slim, thick, early 20s. You know what I'm saying? Natural. You know what I'm saying? Natural chick, no weave. You know what I'm saying? No crazy eyelashes, none of that. She's natural. She's on point. Okay? And I've actually kind of seen her in action in certain, like the way she carries herself. You know what I'm saying? Definitely seems like a woman that came from like a solid family. And I can tell because she wasn't loud and ratchet. Every time I seen her, she was always like, had a very good demeanor about her, a very good disposition about her. Okay, now why am I bringing this up? Me and him had just had this conversation and about personal finance, economics, and all that, credit scores, yada yada, right? And his situation with his girl. About a month later, this guy is picks up a side chick. Okay, now I'm kind of already semi-confirming this because at first I peeped something was going on with him when I was running across him, and I peeped the situation of this other chick. Now this chick is badder than this girl. Okay, she bad. Okay, um, and with him being able, with him getting this new side chick, which I haven't talked to him about. I'm not gonna get into his business. I'm gonna let him do his own thing. It just so happens that I was running across another guy who's about my age, and we happened to see this particular female, and he was kind of motioning like, "Yo, that's old boy's gal." I was like, "Oh snap! Okay, so it's kind of confirmed," because I was thinking that there was something probably going on. Now, why am I bringing this up? I guarantee you, I know he hasn't. I'm pretty certain he has not broken up with his girl, but I guarantee he hasn't told his girl about the side chick. So I think y'all get where I'm coming at. In the market, you got guys that are out here that will go and grab a side piece and two biscuits. You know what I'm saying? And they're getting two sides, not one side. When you get sometimes when you get that Popeyes combo, they just gonna give you that one side. They want you to pay extra for the second one. So you got some guys, they're getting one side piece and they're getting two side pieces with the main dish, with the entree and the biscuit. So you got a guy, you got a man, right, that got some main chick, and then now he done secured a side chick, and this side chick is excited to kind of probably to be in this type of situation because a lot of women find men in relationships even more desirable. Okay, now we can say she desired him in part because of maybe how he was presented himself physically. Okay, and she might have been drawn to that. We can definitely say that probably was the case because of how fast their situation kicked off. There was clearly strong attraction. This is what happens with younger guys and even some older guys where they bite off more than they can chew. So now, if he's dealing with both of them, at some point, the emotional labor of trying to keep your main chick from knowing about the side chick is going to get very hard and taxing. And depending on how the side chick is moving, if she is providing more excitement of what you want over your girl, then you'll slack with your main chick. Now, again, if you recall, I said it in one of my other videos that I come from a family where both my grandfathers had 5 wives, and they were not Muslim. And even in Islam, you can only have 4 wives. They had 5 each. Why am I saying that? Because neither of my grandfathers had to tell a lie. They didn't have to lie to go get another one. They didn't have to. So I come from that mentality. My mom's younger brother got 4 wives. This is all facts. This is no cap. So I'm speaking as somebody who comes from a family where men had multiple wives, and it wasn't something that was very common. It wasn't like every man. A lot of guys out here that look at polygamy, when they watch these guys like Trap the General and all these other polygamy influencer guys on TikTok and Instagram and on YouTube, y'all think that it was common for men to just have multiple wives. Like the average man had 2 wives or more. That's not the case. So what happens when you get guys that are taking on these extra women, all right? These paramours, okay? And they're engaged in this polyamorous type situations. It actually stifles the market out there for men looking to pair up with a woman, especially on a serious tip. Because a lot of times what's happening is a woman who's looking for a relationship, a lot of time is already in a situationship. She's either in a situationship or a rotation that she's not unable to turn into a full-fledged relationship. And then she keeps her options open to wait for another guy who she feels could give her the commitment that she's looking for. So you got men out here that go out into the quote unquote dating market, and you're over here trying to talk to a chick and you don't even realize that she's a second or third side piece to another guy. And what men don't understand is that these women, a lot of times in these type of relationships, they're okay with very short, brief, lustful interactions with these guys that they're side pieces for. Okay? And they'll carry those, that'll satisfy them. If they really like that guy, and that guy is a guy that they really feel connected to, they'll be cool with that setup for years. Something depending on how high level that guy is. Most of the time it's going to be under a year, but sometimes it can last longer. It can be on and off as well. So this is one of the big issues in the market that a lot of guys are talking about. And he has 2 good-looking women, a main and a side. You got guys out here that are at certain levels where they can deal with an 8 or a 9 on a regular basis because they that clouded up, or maybe they looks max is on some King 6'8" the Great. You know what I'm saying? Or they money. You know what I'm saying? It's long. They out here balling. You know what I'm saying? They pushing G-Wagons and Rolls Royce, you know what I'm saying, Cullinans. Like they really pushing them big boy whips. I ain't talking about guys out there in the Scatty Packs and the Camaros. We're talking about next level, right? And they're getting it. They out there, they're popping champagne, they're getting sections, then they traveling. You got guys, and that's a minority of men, by the way, that are moving like that. And sometimes those guys move like that only for a period of time because every dog has his day. So you got guys out here you got a lot of men that are really looking to be in these relationships, and they're not going to get them because you got all these dudes out here trying to be players. Some of these guys are not even trying to be players. They just run into a situation where a woman that is very attractive, more attractive than their girlfriend, wants them, and they entertain it. And this is something that happens quite a bit with certain men where they're not even looking for a side. The side comes to them. They're not even looking for it because they're content in their situation. And then voila, boom, this situation comes into play. So this is really a problem. It is really a problem. And why do I say that the red pill content creators are part of the problem to a certain degree? Which they're not creating it. I'm saying that they're continuing on the problem that's leading to some of the issues that their followers deal with. And maybe that's part of it. Maybe that's planned obsolescence. Okay, you know, planned obsolescence is when you, it's like in vehicles, right? They expect certain components and parts of the vehicle to break down after a certain amount of mileage or a certain amount of years. So that way they can make money off the maintenance. And also they know that the vehicle itself, the lifetime of the vehicle is only going to last so long. And by that time, you'll be coming back to the dealership to get a new one. That is planned obsolescence. So when you tell guys that they got to go, like Myron Gaines says, you got to go and run through 50 women, you're still creating the problem that the market has and you're exacerbating the problem. Okay? Because in this situation, if this young man took those two openly off the market, it actually will be better. Because this is the reason why when I talk about the polygamy thing, the reason why it makes sense in certain situations, especially in society, here it is. If this man, if this young man openly takes these two women off the market as his wives in a truly polygamous society, then those women are both accounted for and they're not out here double dipping into the market. They're not double dutching. Because what happens is the woman that is playing the side, she actually has a lot more freedom. I'm going to give you an example, right? The side chick is almost like a woman that has like a player option. See, when you sign a contract in the NBA, the veterans tend to have in their contract, and sometimes they have it actually not even in the last year. Sometimes they could put it in a different year in the contract where they have like a player option. Now, the player option allows them to opt out of the contract, to renegotiate, or to go to another team. Or they can opt in and stay with the team. The team itself does not have the option to make this player not pick up the option. Even if they don't like the player has going to pick up that option. If they feel that they are not going to get that much more money on the market, they'd rather just stay and collect that last year's check. So a side chick is a very flexible woman where she may be in a situation where she's a side chick. The man that she's dealing with already has a woman. She knows she's just there for a short time, not a long time. And she's just having her fun. But what happens when she runs into a guy that she really likes? She runs into a man and she's like, dang, I really like this guy. This other guy, I really like him. And I wish I could pursue him, but I'm in a situation. I'm a side chick. And now, how do I break away from this situation? And then what happens is you get these men, they'll get overprotective of the side chick, or they'll be good. Sometimes they'll get jealous over the side chick while they're still dealing with the main chick. Some of them will just let her go. And that's kind of what happens in a lot of these relationships. You got men that are going into relationships with women and they don't even realize that all you did was just give her something that was missing, because in her last situation, or the situation she was when she met you, she was with a man where she was playing the side chick. And what happens with women is they are going to look for what's missing in their life. When after a while of being the side, she's going to desire what's missing, which is a true relationship. And then she'll go and seek that elsewhere if she's not willing to play that role long term. And this is why some men don't even know that the woman you're with, you don't even know that she was aside to another man for like 9 months. She ain't gonna tell you. When she met you, she said she was single. Okay? Just like Shannon Sharp and Chad Ochocinco said, oh, every woman is single depending on who's asking. Every woman is single depending on who's asking. If a woman really is interested in you, I mean, she is like, wow, I really like this man right here. And she's aside, if you ask her, if she really likes you and you ask her, hey, what's up, you single? She'll tell you no. And she will find a way to slowly break away that, especially if there's a quote unquote vibe there, meaning she's feeling you. And she may view that as a better opportunity for her. So, just keep your eyes out on that type of stuff, man. But this is just what it is. Again, spiritual art of war. Let me know what you think in the comments. Share, like, and subscribe. I'm out.